First contact and ridicule. The vast expanse of space had always called to humanity, a siren song of endless possibilities and untold wonders. For centuries, we had gazed up at the stars, dreaming of the day we would finally answer that call. Little did we know that when that day arrived, it would come not with triumph, but with humiliation. It was a crisp autumn morning when the alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit, its sleek, iridescent hull defying our understanding of physics. The world held its breath as the United Nations hastily assembled a first contact team, a motley crew of diplomats, scientists, and military personnel tasked with representing our entire species. Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant astrophysicist with a shock of prematurely grey hair, stood at the forefront of the team. Her heart raced as she boarded the shuttle that would take them to the alien vessel. Beside her, Colonel Marcus Steele, a decorated veteran with eyes that had seen too much, gripped the armrest with white-knuckled intensity. "Nervous, Doc?" he asked, a wry smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Samantha let out a shaky laugh. "Terrified. You?" "Just another day at the office," Marcus replied, but the tightness in his jaw betrayed his own anxiety. As their shuttle docked with the alien ship, Samantha couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. She had no idea how right she was. The aliens, calling themselves the Zorlax, were a sight to behold. Tall, willowy creatures with luminescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies, they moved with a grace that made humans look clumsy by comparison. Their leader, an entity that introduced itself as High Arbiter Xylos, regarded the human delegation with an unsettling mixture of curiosity and disdain. "Welcome, humans," Xylos said, its voice a melodious hum that resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "We have long observed your species from afar, and we deemed it time to make our presence known." Samantha stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. "We're honored by your presence, High Arbiter. We have so many questions." Xylos held up a hand, silencing her. "Questions? Yes, I imagine you do. Your kind always has questions, forever grasping at understanding that lies just beyond your reach." The alien's tone dripped with condescension. "Perhaps it would be more efficient if we simply showed you." With a gesture, Xylos summoned a holographic display that filled the chamber. It showed Earth, but not as they knew it. They saw their cities, their technology, their very way of life laid bare and dissected, and with each image, the Zorlax commentary grew more scathing. "Your propulsion systems, primitive. Your energy production, wasteful and harmful. Your societies, fractured and chaotic." Xylos shook its head, a gesture eerily similar to a human's. "And you call yourselves an advanced civilization?" The holographic display shifted, showing scenes of war, poverty, and environmental destruction. Samantha felt her cheeks burn with shame, even as anger began to simmer in her chest. "Hey now," Marcus interjected, his military bearing asserting itself. "Every species has its flaws. We're still growing, still learning." Xylos fixed Marcus with a pitying look. "Growing? Learning? Your kind has had millennia to overcome these flaws, as you call them. Yet you persist in your ignorance, your violence, your short-sightedness." The alien swept its arm, dismissing the holographic display. "We had hoped to find potential allies. Instead, we find children playing with forces beyond their comprehension." The words stung, each one a dagger to humanity's collective pride. Samantha wanted to argue, to defend her species, but the evidence was damning. How could they possibly measure up to a civilization capable of casual interstellar travel and telepathic communication? As the human delegation returned to Earth, the weight of the Zorlax judgment hung heavy upon them. News of the encounter spread quickly, and with it, a wave of despair and self-doubt. Protests erupted in major cities, some demanding immediate reforms to address the aliens' criticisms, others calling for isolation from a galaxy that clearly held them in contempt. But in labs and workshops around the world, a different response was brewing. Scientists, engineers, and dreamers of all stripes refused to accept the Zorlak's assessment as final. Among them was Dr. Samantha Chen, who now stood before a classified committee, her eyes blazing with determination. "Yes, the Zorlaks showed us our flaws," she said, her voice steady despite the enormity of what she was about to propose. "But they also showed us something else, the existence of higher dimensions, realms of reality we've only theorized about until now." She brought up her own holographic display, nowhere near as advanced as the Zorlaks, but impressive nonetheless. What if our primitive understanding of the universe isn't a weakness, but a strength? What if our unique perspective allows us to see solutions that the Zorlaks, for all their advanced technology, have overlooked? The committee members shifted uncomfortably, but Samantha pressed on. "I propose Project Infinitum, a radical new approach to space travel and energy manipulation, utilizing the higher dimensions the Zorlaks inadvertently revealed to us." "And how do you propose to achieve this?" "Dimensional manipulation, Dr. Chen," asked one of the committee members, skepticism clear in his voice. Samantha allowed herself a small smile. By thinking outside the box, or rather, outside the dimensions we're familiar with, the Zorlaks may have mastered the 5th and 6th dimensions, but they've given no indication of understanding the 7th. That's our edge, our chance to leapfrog their technology and prove humanity's worth. The room erupted in murmurs, a mixture of excitement and disbelief. It was Colonel Marcus Steele who finally brought order with a sharp whistle. "It's a long shot," he said, looking directly at Samantha, "but right now, a long shot is all we've got. I say we give Dr. Chen and her team whatever they need." As the committee deliberated, Samantha's mind raced with possibilities. The Zorlaks had meant to put humanity in its place, to show them how small and insignificant they were in the grand scheme of the universe. Instead, they had inadvertently given humanity the keys to their own salvation. The project was approved, and as Samantha left the meeting, she felt a surge of hope. The path ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges they couldn't even begin to imagine. But for the first time since the Zorlaks' arrival, she believed that humanity had a fighting chance. Little did the Zorlaks know, their laughter at humanity's flaws was about to be silenced. For in the labs and minds of Earth's greatest thinkers, a revolution was taking shape, one that would propel humanity beyond the stars and into realms that would astonish even their alien critics. The journey to prove humanity's worth had begun, and Samantha Chen was determined to see it through, no matter the cost. As she looked up at the night sky, where the Zorlak ship still loomed in orbit, she made a silent promise. "Laugh while you can. We'll show you what humanity is truly capable of." The 7th-Dimensional quantum fold drive. In the shadowy depths of a repurposed missile silo, deep beneath the New Mexico desert, Project Infinitum took shape. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before a holographic display, her fingers dancing through streams of impossibly complex equations. Behind her, a massive structure pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly glow. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced to the assembled team of Earth's brightest minds, "I give you the quantum fold drive." The room erupted in gasps and murmurs. What they were witnessing defied conventional physics, an engine that didn't just move through space, but folded it, creating shortcuts through the very fabric of reality. Colonel Marcus Steele, now the military liaison for the project, let out a low whistle. "Impressive, Doc. But will it fly?" Samantha's eyes gleamed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "It'll do more than fly, Marcus. If our calculations are correct, it'll dance through dimensions the Zorlaks can't even perceive." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Aiden Takashi, the team's quantum computing expert, burst into the room, his usually calm demeanor shattered. "We've got a problem. The Zorlaks, they know." Samantha's blood ran cold. They had hoped to keep the project secret until they were ready to reveal their breakthrough to the world. Now it seemed their hand was being forced. "How much time do we have?" Marcus demanded, already reaching for his comm unit. Aiden shook his head, his fingers flying over a portable holodisplay. Minutes, maybe. Their ships are entering the atmosphere. Samantha looked at the quantum fold drive, then back at her team. In that moment, she made a decision that would alter the course of human history. We launch. Now. Are you insane? Marcus growled. The drive hasn't been tested. The ship isn't even fully assembled. We don't have a choice, Samantha shot back. If the Zorlax shut us down now, humanity might never get another chance. As if to punctuate her words, the facility shook with the first impacts of Zorlak energy weapons. Time had run out. What followed was a blur of activity. The prototype ship, little more than a skeletal frame housing the quantum fold drive, was hastily prepared for launch. A volunteer crew was assembled on the spot, Samantha to operate the drive, Marcus for tactical support, Aiden to manage the quantum systems, and Dr. Zara Okoro, their brilliant xenobiologist. As they strapped themselves into the makeshift command center, Samantha couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. Some first flight, huh? Marcus grinned back, the old soldier in him relishing the chaos, just like old times in the course. Improvise, adapt, overcome. The launch countdown echoed through the ship's hull, competing with the sounds of battle raging outside. Samantha's hands flew over the quantum fold drive's controls, initializing systems that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. Quantum coherence achieved, Aiden called out, his voice tight with concentration. 7th-Dimensional fold integrity at 92% and holding. Zara, monitoring the external feeds, gasped. They've breached the outer defenses. It's now or never. Samantha took a deep breath, her finger hovering over the activation switch. Here goes everything, she muttered and pressed the button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The world outside the viewport stretched and distorted, colors bleeding into impossible hues. The crew felt a sensation like being turned inside out and back again, their very atoms singing with otherworldly energies. When the disorientation passed, they found themselves not in the launch silo, not even on Earth, but floating in the inky blackness of space. Below them, the blue marble of their home world spun serenely, the Zorlak ships now appearing as tiny, confused specks in low orbit. Holy shit, Marcus breathed. It worked. Samantha allowed herself a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. They had done it. They had not only escaped the Zorlax, but had made a leap in space travel that put humanity light years ahead, literally and figuratively. But their elation was short-lived. Alarms blared as the ship's hastily assembled systems struggled to cope with the strain of interdimensional travel. Cracks appeared in the hull, glowing with the same eerie light as the quantum fold drive. The 7th-dimensional field is destabilizing. Aiden shouted over the cacophony of alerts. If we don't find a way to stabilize it, we'll be torn apart. Samantha's mind raced. They couldn't return to Earth, not with the Zorlax waiting and their ship falling apart. There was only one option, as insane as it seemed. We need to go deeper, she said, her fingers already dancing over the drive controls. Further into the 7th dimension, it's our only chance. You can't be serious, Zara protested. We have no idea what's out there. Exactly, Samantha replied, a manic grin spreading across her face. And that's precisely why the Zorlax won't be able to follow. Before anyone could object further, Samantha activated the drive again. This time, the sensation was even more intense. Reality not only bent, but shattered around them, reforming into shapes and patterns that defied description. The crew felt their consciousness expand, touching realms of existence they never knew possible. When the chaos subsided, they found themselves in a place that couldn't rightly be called space. Swirling vortexes of energy surrounded them, pulsing with colors that had no names. In the distance, they could see what looked like the strands of the cosmic web, the very structure of the universe laid bare before them. Where are we? Marcus asked, his voice filled with awe and not a little fear. Samantha checked the readings on her console, her eyes wide with wonder. According to these readings, we're everywhere and nowhere. We've entered a realm where conventional spacetime doesn't apply. As the implications of their situation sank in, a new alert caught their attention. A massive energy signature was approaching, something vast and ancient and utterly alien. Guys," Aiden said, his voice quavering. "I think we just got someone's attention, and I don't think it's a Zorlax." As the unknown entity drew nearer, the crew of humanity's first 7th-Dimensional ship realized their journey was only beginning. They had set out to prove humanity's worth to the Zorlax, but now found themselves face to face with forces beyond even their alien critics' comprehension. In that moment, huddled in their makeshift vessel on the fringes of reality, they understood that humanity's true test was just beginning, and the fate of not just Earth, but perhaps the entire multiverse, hung in the balanced cosmic origami and the multiversal nexus. The entity approaching the human vessel defied description, a being of pure energy and consciousness that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensions. As it drew near, the crew of Earth's prototype ship felt their minds expanding, struggling to comprehend what they were witnessing. "It's communicating," Dr. Zara Okoro gasped, her xenobiologist training kicking into overdrive. Not with words, but with pure concepts. The being, which they came to call the Nexus, unfolded its vast consciousness before them. In an instant, the crew understood that they had stumbled upon a cosmic crossroads, a point where countless universes intersected and intertwined. "It's showing us the structure of the multiverse," Samantha breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Look." The viewport shimmered, transforming into a window that peered into the very fabric of reality. They saw universes folding and unfolding like cosmic origami, each crease and fold representing dimensional barriers that separated one reality from another. "My God," Colonel Marcus Steele muttered, his military bravado momentarily forgotten. "It's beautiful." Dr. Aiden Takashi, however, noticed something alarming. "Wait, look there." He pointed to a section of the multiversal map where the folds appeared frayed and worn. "That can't be good." The Nexus confirmed Aiden's suspicion, flooding their minds with a sense of urgent concern. The boundaries between universes were weakening, threatening to collapse and merge realities in a cataclysmic event that would reshape the entire multiverse. "The cosmic convergence," Samantha whispered, the term appearing in her mind fully formed. "If we don't stop it, everything, all realities, all possibilities, will be destroyed." As if to underscore the point, a shockwave rippled through the higher dimensions, causing their ship to shudder and groan. Alarms blared as systems struggled to compensate for the fluctuating laws of physics. "We need to stabilize our position," Marcus barked, falling back on his training. "Aiden, reroute power to the dimensional anchors." As Aiden worked feverishly at his console, Zara made a startling realization. The Zorlax, they must have known about this. That's why they came to Earth. The pieces fell into place. The Zorlax hadn't just been judging humanity, they had been searching for a solution to the impending multiversal collapse. Their disdain for human civilization masked a desperate hope that Earth's unique perspective might hold the key to salvation. "But why didn't they just tell us?" Marcus demanded, frustration evident in his voice. Samantha's eyes lit up with understanding, because they couldn't see it themselves. Their mastery of the 5th and 6th dimensions blinded them to the possibilities of the 7th. They needed us to make the leap they couldn't. The Nexus pulsed with approval, confirming Samantha's theory. It showed them glimpses of other civilizations across the multiverse, each struggling with their own dimensional limitations, unable to perceive the true nature of the crisis. "So what do we do?" Aiden asked, his fingers dancing over the ship's controls as he fought to keep them anchored in the turbulent dimensional tides. Samantha turned to the quantum fold drive, her mind racing with possibilities. "We use the drive not just to travel, but to mend. If we can apply the principles of seventh-dimensional folding to the weakened areas of the multiverse, we could restitch the fabric of reality itself, Zara finished, catching on to the idea. The Nexus thrummed with excitement, feeding them the knowledge they would need to attempt such an audacious feat. But there was a catch. To generate enough power, they would need to channel the energy of a collapsing universe through the quantum fold drive. That's suicide, Marcus protested. The ship can barely handle normal operations, let alone that kind of power surge. Samantha met his gaze, her expression resolute. What choice do we have? It's not just Earth at stake anymore, it's everything. As if to emphasize her point, another dimensional shockwave rocked the ship, more violent than the last. Warning lights flashed across every console. Hull integrity down to 62%, Aiden reported, his voice tight. We don't have much time. Samantha took a deep breath, looking at each of her crewmates in turn. I won't order anyone to do this. It's beyond dangerous, and there's no guarantee we'll survive, let alone succeed. But if we don't try, everything ends. Not just our universe, but all universes. Every possibility, every hope, every dream, gone. For a moment, silence reigned on the bridge, broken only by the persistent alarms. Then, one by one, the crew nodded their assent. For Earth, Marcus said solemnly. For science, Aiden added with a nervous grin. For life itself, Zara concluded. With renewed determination, they set to work. Guided by the Nexus and fueled by human ingenuity, they began to modify the quantum fold drive. Samantha's fingers flew over the controls, implementing changes that would have taken years of research in mere minutes. As they worked, the multiverse continued to unravel around them. Through the viewport, they watched entire realities collapse, folding in on themselves like cosmic paper cranes. The sight was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a reminder of the stakes they faced. Finally, after what felt like both an eternity and no time at all, they were ready. The modified quantum fold drive hummed with power, its glow pulsing in sync with the dimensional tides that buffeted their ship. Ready for power infusion, Aiden called out, his hand hovering over the final switch. Samantha nodded, her heart pounding. Do it. With a deep breath, Aiden flipped the switch. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of reality, a stream of pure energy from a dying universe poured into their ship. The crew was thrown to the floor as the vessel bucked and heaved. Warnings screamed from every console, the ship threatening to tear itself apart under the strain. Hold on, Samantha shouted over the cacophony. We just need a few more seconds. Through sheer force of will, she dragged herself back to the main controls. Her vision swam, reality itself seeming to blur around the edges as the power of a collapsing universe surged through the ship. With the last of her strength, Samantha activated the modified quantum fold drive. The viewports filled with blinding light as seventh-dimensional energy poured out of the ship, weaving through the weakened fabric of the multiverse. For a timeless moment, the crew of Earth's first seventh-dimensional ship hung suspended between existence and oblivion. They felt the weight of countless realities pressing in on them, the hopes and fears of innumerable beings across the multiverse. And then, slowly at first, but with gathering momentum, the frayed edges of reality began to knit themselves back together. The crew watched in awe as entire universes unfolded and re-established their boundaries, the cosmic origami of creation reasserting itself. As the blinding light faded and the ship's alarms finally fell silent, the crew found themselves floating in a sea of calm. The Nexus pulsed around them, radiating a sense of profound gratitude and respect. Samantha looked out at the restored multiverse, tears streaming down her face. We did it, she whispered. We actually did it. But their journey was far from over. As the Nexus began to communicate again, they realized that their actions had not gone unnoticed. Across the dimensions, civilizations far beyond human understanding were turning their attention to the small crew that had just saved all of existence. And somewhere, in a distant corner of their home universe, the Zorlax watched in stunned silence as humanity proved itself far more capable than they could have ever imagined. The real adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. The Quantum Entanglement Symposium. As the ripples of their multiversal rescue operation spread across dimensions, the crew of Earth's prototype ship found themselves at the center of an unprecedented cosmic event. The Nexus, still pulsing with gratitude, extended an invitation that defied their wildest imaginations. A multiversal conference, Zora echoed, her eyes wide with disbelief. Samantha nodded, interpreting the abstract concepts the Nexus was projecting into their minds. Not just a conference, a gathering of the most advanced civilizations from across the multiverse, and we're the guests of honor. Marcus let out a low whistle. Talk about punching above our weight class. As their ship was enveloped in a cocoon of shimmering energy, preparing for transport to the conference location, Aiden frantically worked at his console. I'm recording everything I can, he explained. The quantum fluctuations alone could revolutionize our understanding of, well, everything. The journey was unlike anything they had experienced before. They passed through layers of reality like a stone skipping across the surface of a pond, each skip revealing new and impossible vistas. Finally, they arrived at a structure that defied description, a massive, ever-shifting citadel that seemed to exist in all dimensions simultaneously. Welcome, a voice echoed in their minds, to the Quantum Entanglement Symposium. As they disembarked, the crew found themselves surrounded by beings of every conceivable form, and many inconceivable ones. They were entities of pure light, swirling vortexes of conscious gas, and creatures that seemed to phase in and out of existence with each passing moment. Remember, Samantha cautioned her awestruck team, we're representing all of humanity here. Let's make a good impression. Their first encounter was with a race of crystalline beings who communicated through complex lattice vibrations. Zora's xenobiology expertise proved invaluable as she quickly devised a way to interpret their resonances. They're thanking us, she translated, her voice filled with wonder. Apparently, the collapse we prevented would have shattered their entire civilization. As they moved through the symposium, each interaction brought new marvels. Aiden found himself deep in discussion with a collective consciousness that existed as a quantum probability cloud, exchanging ideas about computational theory that pushed the boundaries of mathematics itself. Marcus, much to his surprise, hit it off with a warrior race of energy beings. They swapped battle stories, finding common ground in the universal language of strategy and courage. But it was Samantha who drew the most attention. Word of her ingenious application of 7th-Dimensional folding had spread, and beings from across the multiverse sought her out to discuss the implications. Your species' unique perspective is invaluable, an entity composed of what appeared to be living dark matter told her. You see connections that even we, with all our advanced technology, overlook. As the symposium progressed, it became clear that humanity's achievement had shifted the balance of power across the multiverse. Civilizations that had long looked down on younger races were now reassessing their views, recognizing the potential for brilliance in unexpected places. The Zorlax, to everyone's surprise, made an appearance. Their earlier condescension had been replaced by a grudging respect. We may have been hasty in our judgment, their representative admitted to Samantha. Your species has proven to be far more adaptable and insightful than we anticipated. But not everyone was thrilled with humanity's sudden rise to prominence. As the crew mingled, they became aware of whispers and sidelong glances from some of the older, more established civilizations. They fear us, Marcus realized, his military instincts on high alert. We've upset the status quo. Their suspicions were confirmed when alarms suddenly blared throughout the citadel. A group of extremists, fearful of the changes humanity's innovation might bring, had decided to take drastic action. They're trying to collapse the dimensional barriers around the symposium. Aiden shouted, interpreting the stream of data flowing through the citadel's systems. If they succeed, we'll all be trapped in a pocket universe, cut off from our home realities. As panic spread through the gathered beings, Samantha and her crew sprang into action. This was what humanity did best, facing impossible odds with ingenuity and determination. Aiden, work with the quantum probability cloud to boost our computational power, Samantha ordered. Zara, coordinate with the crystalline beings. We'll need their lattice structure to stabilize the dimensional frequencies. Marcus, you and your energy warrior friends form a defensive perimeter. As for Samantha herself, she reached out to the Nexus, which had been observing the symposium with interest. We need to recreate what we did to save the multiverse, she communicated, but on a smaller, more focused scale. What followed was a battle unlike any other in human history. As Marcus and his unlikely allies held off the extremists with tactics that spanned multiple dimensions, Samantha and the others worked feverishly to reinforce the fabric of reality itself. Aiden's fingers flew over holographic interfaces, implementing algorithms that would have taken Earth's most advanced supercomputers millennia to process. Zara coordinated a symphony of crystalline resonances, each carefully tuned to strengthen the dimensional boundaries. And at the center of it all, Samantha stood with arms outstretched, channeling the power of the Nexus through her human consciousness. She became a conduit for forces beyond mortal comprehension. Her mind expanded to encompass the totality of the threatened space. Just as it seemed the barriers would buckle, everything snapped back into place. The extremists found themselves outmaneuvered and outnumbered, their plot foiled by an unprecedented collaboration of multiversal civilizations. As the dust settled and the immediate danger passed, the gathered beings turned to the human crew with a new level of respect and admiration. They had not only saved the multiverse once, but twice, and in doing so, had demonstrated the true potential of their species. The Quantum Entanglement Symposium, which had begun as a celebration of multiversal unity, had become something far more profound. It was a turning point in cosmic history, the moment when humanity proved beyond any doubt that they were ready to take their place among the stars and beyond. As representatives from civilizations older than some universes approached to extend formal alliances, Samantha and her crew shared a quiet moment of reflection. "You know," Marcus said with a grin, "I joined the military to see the world. Never imagined I'd end up seeing the multiverse." Zara laughed, still buzzing with the thrill of interacting with so many new life forms. "I don't think any of us imagined this. We've rewritten the book on first contact, and second and third and fourth." Aiden, his mind still reeling from the exchange of multiversal knowledge, nodded in agreement. "We came looking to prove humanity's worth. Instead, we may have just ushered in a new era of cosmic cooperation." Samantha looked out at the swirling dimensions beyond the Citadel's boundaries, a smile playing on her lips. "And to think, this all started because some aliens laughed at our flaws. Wait until they see what we do next." As the Quantum Entanglement Symposium drew to a close, preparations were already underway for humanity's formal introduction to the wider multiverse. The crew of Earth's first 7th-Dimensional ship had opened the door to a future filled with infinite possibilities. And somewhere, in the swirling depths of the quantum foam, the Nexus pulsed with anticipation. Humanity's journey was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. The hyperdimensional renaissance. As the crew of Earth's prototype ship prepared to return home, they found themselves tasked with an unprecedented responsibility: introducing humanity to its new place in the cosmic order. The Quantum Entanglement Symposium had not only established Earth as a major player in multiversal politics, but had also opened floodgates of knowledge and technology beyond their wildest dreams. "We're calling it the hyperdimensional renaissance," Samantha explained to a stunned United Nations assembly, her holographic form flickering slightly as it was projected across thousands of miles. "An explosion of innovation and discovery that will reshape every aspect of human civilization." The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity. As news of humanity's cosmic triumph spread, The world was gripped by a fervor for knowledge and exploration unlike anything seen since a space race. Dr. Aiden Takashi found himself at the forefront of a new field of study, quantum consciousness engineering. Drawing on insights gained from the collective consciousness beings at the symposium, he spearheaded projects that merged human minds with advanced AI, creating hybrid intelligences capable of solving problems that had puzzled humanity for centuries. Imagine, he said in a viral TED talk that would be viewed billions of times across the multiverse, a world where the cure for cancer is as simple as a thought, where the deepest mysteries of physics unravel in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, Dr. Zara Okoro's work in xenobiology led to a revolution in medicine and biotechnology. By studying the crystalline being's lattice structures, she developed a method of manipulating the human genome with unprecedented precision. We're not just curing diseases, she announced at a press conference that made headlines across dimensions. We're redefining the very limits of human potential. Imagine organs that regenerate, lifespans extended centuries, even the ability to adapt to environments we once thought uninhabitable. Colonel Marcus Steele, for his part, found himself reshaping military doctrine for an age of multidimensional warfare. His experiences with the energy beings led to the development of quantum entanglement-based communication systems and weapons that could target threats across parallel realities. The nature of conflict has changed, he testified before a joint session of Congress. We're not just defending our borders anymore, but the very fabric of our reality. But it was Samantha Chen who bore the greatest burden and opportunity. As Earth's primary liaison to the multiversal community, she worked tirelessly to ensure humanity's smooth integration into cosmic society. Under her guidance, Earth established its first extradimensional embassy, a structure that existed simultaneously in multiple realities. Trade agreements were forged with civilizations whose very concept of economics defied human understanding. Cultural exchange programs allowed humans to experience art forms that engaged senses they didn't even know they possessed. Yet, for all the wonders of this new age, challenges remained. The sudden influx of advanced technology and mind-bending concepts led to social upheaval on a global scale. Religious institutions grappled with the implications of multiple realities and forms of life beyond human comprehension. Philosophers debated the nature of consciousness itself in light of encounters with beings of pure thought. Moreover, not everyone welcomed this new cosmic order. A movement known as the dimensional purists gained traction, arguing that humanity was losing touch with its roots, diluting its essence through contact with alien influences. It was against this backdrop of transformation and tension that Earth faced its greatest test yet. A distress signal, detected by the newly established multiversal early warning system, warned of an impending threat unlike anything they had encountered before. "We're calling it the Void Cascade," Samantha explained to an emergency session of the UN Security Council. "A wave of non-existence that's consuming entire realities, and it's heading straight for our universe." As the gravity of the situation sank in, the council chamber erupted into chaos. But Samantha held up her hand, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "But we're not facing this alone," she continued. "Our allies across the multiverse are rallying to our aid. This is the moment we prove that humanity isn't just ready for the cosmic stage, we're essential to it." What followed was a mobilization effort unprecedented in human history. The quantum fold drive, once a closely guarded secret, was now mass-produced and installed on a fleet of ships that would make up Earth's contribution to the multiversal defense force. Aiden's hybrid intelligences coordinated strategies across dimensional boundaries, processing information at speeds that would have been impossible just months earlier. Zara's bioengineering breakthroughs allowed human pilots to withstand the mental and physical stresses of interdimensional travel. Marcus, promoted to Supreme Commander of Earth's Multiversal Defense Force, led the charge. His fleet, a mix of human ingenuity and alien technology, stood ready to face the encroaching void. As the day of reckoning approached, humanity held its breath. In homes and public squares across the globe, people gathered around holographic displays, watching as the combined forces of multiple universes prepared to make their stand. The battle that ensued defied description, a clash of forces so vast and incomprehensible that human languages lacked the words to capture it. Realities folded and unfolded like cosmic origami, entire dimensions used as tactical maneuvers in a war that sprawled across the very foundations of existence. And at the heart of it all was the crew of that first prototype ship, now commanders of their own vessels, leading the charge against the encroaching nothingness. Their human perspective, so recently dismissed by the Zorlax, proved to be the key to victory. For it was Samantha who realized that the void cascade wasn't a force of destruction, but a misunderstood form of creation. By recalibrating the quantum fold drives to resonate with the cascade's frequency, they were able to communicate with it, to guide its transformative power into shaping new realities rather than unmaking existing ones. As the threat passed and jubilant celebrations erupted across countless worlds, the multiverse found itself forever changed. Humanity, once a backward species on a small blue planet, had proven itself to be a linchpin in the cosmic order. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The hyperdimensional renaissance had ushered in an era of unlimited potential, where the boundaries between thought and reality, between the possible and the impossible, had been irrevocably blurred. As Samantha stood on the bridge of her ship, looking out at a vista of newborn universes shaped by the redirected void cascade, she couldn't help but smile. The Zorlax's laughter at humanity's flaws seemed like a distant memory now, replaced by the profound respect of countless civilizations. "Well," she said to her crew, echoing words spoken what felt like a lifetime ago, "I guess we showed them what humanity is truly capable of." And as their ship turned towards home, riding waves of possibility through the multidimensional sea, the crew knew that their journey, and humanity's cosmic adventure, was only just beginning. The universe, in all its infinite variations, would never be the same, and neither would they.